Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to talk to you about a library that's called Android Annotations. This is a library that makes it a little bit easier for you to develop Android applications by kind of making it easier by making it so that you don't have to write out all of the boilerplate code that's involved with every little thing. So in Android and even in Java in general, there's quite a bit of boilerplate code. I mean, for instance, like a click listener in Android, there's kind of a lot of stuff that you have to know in order to set that up and make it working. Android Annotations is a project that aims to make all of that stuff a little bit easier for you by kind of condensing that into just one line of code that is an annotation, and then at compile and build time it will transform that annotation into the necessary code before it gets built. So the end result in your APK is the same as if you had wrote all that code yourself to set that stuff up, but instead of having to do that, you just have to put this one line here with the annotation. So it makes writing applications easier, and it makes maintaining them a little bit easier as well, because your code kind of is a lot more clear what you're actually trying to do. So today I'm going to show you how to set up a project with Android Annotations using Eclipse. So first thing you need to do, come to this website here. It's androidannotations.org. That's the main site for this Android Annotations. You can check it out on GitHub if you want as well. They have a GitHub. This is the main page, and then from there you want to click this documentation button right here, and that will take you to this page where it tells you a little bit more about the project. I definitely recommend you take a look through some of this stuff. It will tell you kind of what the project's all about and how it's meant to work and things like that. The next thing you need to do after you get that stuff checked out is to click this download button over here. That will take you to the downloads page, and then from there you just need to click download Android Annotations. And right now the most current version is 2.7.1, but they're always updating this thing, so you might have a different number when you come to here. Just download whatever the most current one is. There's also some instructions on this site here. Down here it says if you use Ant, update your Ant configuration, and it says configure Eclipse and IntelliJ. So today I'm going to be showing you how to do this with Eclipse, but you can also find the instructions here. And if you use IntelliJ, then you can click this link over here and it'll show you how to set it up for that. So that's what you need to do when you download that package. You should end up with something that looks like this. You got a couple folders inside here, JavaDoc and sources, and then two different jar files. Now this is important because you're going to have to put both of these jar files as part of your project, but you need to put them in different places. So if you're not used to using a compile library, then that's going to be kind of a new thing. I know when I first used this was the first time I had done that, so that was something that I had to learn how to do, but I'm going to show that to you now. So make sure you got both of these jar files in your download, and then let's head on over to Eclipse and get started. First thing we need to do, create a new project. So we'll go new Android application project. Let's give it a name. For now I'm just going to give it a sample name. Let's say hello annotations, and then we can leave the rest of that stuff there. Set the levels to whatever you want. Let's hit next. I'm going to uncheck this launcher icon. I don't need a launcher icon right now, but I'm going to leave checked the create an activity field, just so that will create an activity for us. And then click next. I'll leave it as a blank activity. Click next, and I'll leave it called main activity. Click finish. That'll create a project for us, and this is going to be the project we're going to use. So now you see we got hello annotations over here. So there's a couple of things we need to do to get up and running. We need to get both of these jar files into our project. So go ahead and expand the project over here. This opened up the activity main XML layout by default, but in this tutorial I'm not going to make any changes to that, so I'm going to go ahead and close it. So let's see, go ahead and expand your project over here. You will want to open up the libs folder, and you see inside there we got Android support jar. That's something that Eclipse generated for us. We need to actually create a new folder, so go ahead, right click on the project, choose new and folder. And this one we can call compile-libs. And it's very important that you make a separate folder, because you can't put both of these jars inside of the regular libs folder. You got to put one of them in a separate folder. I don't think it matters too much what you call it, but for clarity's sake I call mine compile-libs. So go ahead and make that folder, and then what you want to do is from this downloaded package here, you want to copy the Android Annotations API, the jar that says API in it right here. You want to copy that into the regular libs folder. So go ahead, right click copy, and we will paste it into the regular libs folder. And again, that's the one that says Android Annotation API 271.jar. That's the one you want to put in regular libs. And then the other jar file that doesn't say API, we want to copy that and we want to put it into compile libs. Now, what we need to do after that is we need to set it up inside of our build path. So right click on the project, choose properties, and then go to Java build path, and inside the libraries section we want to do add a jar file. We will open up Hello Annotations, open up libs, and we'll choose Android Annotations API. And then the I've been having to do this lately. I don't know what's going on with Eclipse, but sometimes you have to come inside this order and export and check these other things here. So come inside order and export and check that Android Annotations libs. I think it used to do that automatically, or maybe it's not entirely necessary. I don't know. You could play around with it, but it seems like I've been having to do that lately. So that's the regular library. Now we got to import the compiler library. So what we need to do for that is we want to click over here where it says Java compiler. We get a warning that says the build path, we gotta apply the changes, so we'll apply those. So we want to click Java compiler, and then we want to make sure that this says compiler compliance level is set at 1.6 over here. That's should be the default, but you do want to make sure that that is what you're set at, because if you aren't on 1.6, then this Android Annotations is not going to work for you. So double check that, and then you can expand compiler. Go ahead and click on annotation processing, and now we need to be able to check this box here that says enable annotation processing. But in order to do that, we also have to check this one at the top that says enable project specific settings. So go ahead and check that one, and then make sure that enable annotation processing is checked as well. And then we got to do one more thing. Go ahead and expand the annotation processing, click on factory path. You want to check the box at the top of this page too for enable project specific settings. And then we want to add a jar, and then for this jar we're going to add the one that's in compile libs. So we'll go ahead and pick that out from compile libs, add that, and then hit apply. You'll get a warning here that says annotation processing settings changed, a rebuild of the project is required. Do you want to rebuild now? So go ahead and click yes for that, and then click OK, and we got the same thing again. So I'm just going to go ahead and click yes again. So that will build our project for us, and we'll close out of those properties. Now go ahead and let's open up the main activity, and we're going to make some changes inside there just to make sure that the Android Annotations is working properly. So we open up main activity, and I'm not going to go too much into detail about how Android Annotations work, but let me jump back over to the web here. On this home page for the GitHub, this is the home page of the documentation. So when you click documentation, this is the page you'll get to. This page tells you a lot about what the project is, and then if you click on cookbook and available annotations, these two links right over here, they'll tell you all of the neat things that you can do with this project. I'm not going to go too in depth in them. I will do that in a later video, but for this one I'm going to focus just on getting a project up and running. So in order to switch over to using an annotation style activity, it's really easy. All we got to do is at the top of our, or one line above our public class main activity, we're going to say @ and then e activity, and then we'll get some parentheses here, and we'll say r.layout.activity main. Now you can see it's got a red line, so we got to organize our imports. We'll do that. That will import this EA activity for us. The other thing we can do is we can delete this set content view from our onCreate. So Eclipse generated this for us automatically, but because we're using Android Annotations, we actually don't need that anymore. This annotation right up here, E activity, will take care of that for us. That's why we pass it this layout right here. So that's all you have to do to convert this inside the main activity class, to convert this to using Android Annotations. You do have to make one more change, and that is inside the manifest file. Let's open that up here, and let's go to the code for it. What you have to do is you have to add an underscore to the end of any activity that is going to be an annotations activity, basically. So Android Annotations, when it does its compilation, it builds kind of a copy of all your activities, and it adds an underscore to the end of them. So you got to make sure that the ones you put inside your manifest, if they're annotation activities, they got to have this underscore here. So go ahead and put that into your manifest, save the changes, and that should be everything we need. So let's go ahead and fire it up and see if it runs. And I got emulator loaded up over here, so it'll take just a second for that to push over, and if all goes well, then we should see our Hello World activity. Yeah, let's see, we can open this up. Progress. Oh, we got no progress operations. Oh well. And there we are. So now we're back in the emulator. This activity is running. We got Hello World, so that means that Android Annotations is up and running because it was able to take our layout from the E activity annotation and apply it to our activity. So we're good to go now. Now you can continue on with this project and use all the rest of the benefits that Annotations gives to you. So that's it for this video. Definitely, if you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel and keep an eye out, because the next video that I post up will be some more in-depth examples of what you can do with annotations and how it makes your code easier to read and maintain. So check that stuff out on the Annotations website if you want to, and then check back later because I'll have a video that gives you an example of a lot of that stuff. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it helpful.